In this game, there's something called Martial Mastery. In this video, I'm going to show you how to maximize it. You can enjoy being overpowered. I'll also give you a few tips and tricks to help you along your journey. Let's talk about the elephant in the room first, your gear. How exactly does this impact our Martial Mastery? First off, just tune your gear to the max. This will drastically increase it, but by how much? If I have a sword at 182 and I switch it out for a sword at 168, I will lose about 80% of that gear score value, so about 12 in total. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm not sure why, or if I'm missing something here. Well, that's what I've found. Another thing to keep in mind is your passives that you get after you tune it. You'll get 4 if you upgrade it 4 times, and if you upgrade it 3 times, you'll only get 3. You'll then see, yellow, purple, and blue. This is the indication of how good of a roll it is, not in terms of to your build, but just the luck. So gold is the best roll possible, where blue is the worst one. Then it will say RCM on it. This RCM is what it recommends for your build to have. You see here, I have a blue one and it's RCM, meaning that's technically best in slot for my build. It just could have rolled to a gold, so it sucks. But something that increases our gear score much more than having a higher gear score weapon is your set bonus. Here you can look at my earring. Remember, my gear score was 11,500. If I switch it off to a 15 earring, in theory here, I should lose about 100-ish gear score. But in reality, I lose 230 mastery, double the gear score, making gear sets extremely important to have, not only for their very strong bonus that they give your build, but for the amount of power it gives on top of it. But how do I know which gear set to focus on for my loadout? You can hit back here, click develop, head over to abilities, then you hit under your weapon, then click combination. This will tell you the recommended weapons and armor sets you want for your current build. If you want to know how to easily be able to find this, just go over to Wandering Pass, click in here, then click Camping Challenges, then you can just scroll through and you will see which dungeons have a chance to drop what you need for your build. But while we're farming gear, you'll have to make a decision between either doing outposts or dungeons. Let me explain the difference really quickly. Dungeons give you these notes. These notes can be used for breakthroughs, where outposts give you these rocks. These rocks can be used for your skills. But however, outposts do not give you set bonus. What does this mean? If you want to min-max for endgame, technically you can make an argument that only doing outposts here is correct. But since we'll be stuck on this level, yes, this level, for 9 days, I recommend just getting your set pieces, as it will only cost you like a couple days of energy, which is completely fine for being OP for a week. So once you've made your decision, if you want your set or not, click on it, hit teleport, it'll teleport you in and go fight the boss. Let me break down energy, as this may be a bit confusing. Once we're in this little screen, we can hover over it. Here it'll tell us the next time it recharges and how long it will take until it's fully recharged. So about 3 days and you get 400 energy back. You can get a lot of dungeon spams in there, and that's exactly what I did in order to get all my set pieces you see right here. I think it's 100% worth doing, as being OP for a week is definitely a lot of fun, and you shouldn't miss out on some fun just to kind of min-max the endgame. You can also get rewards by either doing the weekly raid or by doing sword trial. This will grant you boxes that you can then open to get the set of your choosing. Now the items in these boxes are completely random, and it's the equivalent of doing like a boss dungeon. Don't know what you're going to get until you open that juicy box. You will also get these other rewards, and I think these are definitely worth doing for your first time clear. But after that, there's people here, that's some RNG I just don't want to deal with. So I would rather just do the solo mode dungeon, so I can just do it on my own time and not have to worry about getting some bad teammate. Another way to enjoy our power spike for 9 days is by upgrading our weapons. This is incredibly important, not only for the minor increase in percentile damage, but these breakthroughs. These breakthroughs will once again cost the notes that we get from the dungeons, but more importantly, these breakthroughs will either give us a whole new passive for our weapons or give us a substantial upgrade to a current passive. Additional, they will take like these materials. How do we get these materials? Well, if it's a block, or for your weapons, you will have to slaughter the enemies either in forts or in camps scattered across the map. Now when you are killing them, the grunts, the easy peasy lemon squeeze enemies, these guys will drop the green variants, and the bigger / tougher enemies will drop the bluer variants if you are confused on which enemies will drop which. But while we're upgrading our journey, we will also have mystic skills we want to focus on. Here, we can upgrade them as well. This is what our rocks are used for, but you'll also have this additional material. Now, you can purchase these items through other shops. We'll get into that here in a sec, but I want to talk about how to gather these first. Whenever you head over to a node and gather it, you will always get the green item. However, the purple item, the one you see here, has a percentile chance to drop. A great way to increase this drop rate chance is by hitting consumables and eating food. If you want to know how to purchase these items that increase our gathering rate, head into town and look at the top left of your screen for the bull icon. You'll be standing right here. You can talk to them. I highly recommend getting their affection up. This is done by buying their resources. Why? Because they give you a box that allows us to get some inner ways. Here you can say, let me have a taste. I'm hungry from some homemade cooking, and the expensive food will give you 20% chance, and the unexpensive food will give you 10%. Make sure you read it, as this one's only good for fishing, or maybe you want one for herbal gathering. Let me tell you something that will drastically increase our damage in PvE. For dungeon and raiding, Dragon Breath and Soaring Spin are amazing to do in raids, as one acts a gap closer to get to the boss, and the other one is just a phenomenal dot. Keep in mind, when you are using these abilities, you can always parry at the end of them to animation cancel the unnecessary movement from current abilities, speed up our DPS. If you want to know how to get these, I'll have a video link down in the description below, because these ones are quite tricky. And for solo play, I like Soaring Spin compared with Guardian Palm. I just found this to be overall the best because it just gives you so much safety while allowing us to deal good damage and breaking bars. Something that will also drastically increase our power will be enhanced. Here we can level it up using materials that we find either from vendors or stuff we get across the map. This will increase our HP, defense, and damage across the board. Something that's very important to increase our power is the arsenal. This is where our old level 41 gear will go to die. We put it in here, and this will increase the total mastery. Once you pass 550, the min and max attack will no longer increase, but your gear score will continue to go up. Now it's not by much, by about 8%, as demonstrated when I take off this earring. So the choice is yours if you want to tune it up or keep it the same. And the way you do that is the same way you upgrade your gear, by clicking on it, hitting tune, and then hitting plus until you can't hit it no more. You'll have to use rocks and a bit of coin, but you'll have plenty of those. If you guys are confused on how to get rocks, you just have to click recycling, and then whatever piece that you delete, so a 41 piece of gear, will give you a level 41 rock. Very simple, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Another great way to increase our martial mastery is by clicking into talents. Here, well, you want to listen up because this one's very important. You will see a threshold at the bottom of your screen. This will be stopping you from getting major upgrades such as this max physical attack. Right now, if I had 4 more, yes, 4 F's in the chat, I could get about 12 more damage here. Would be very nice to have. But upgrading these will also increase your martial mastery. So yes, I could spend a talent point here, get more crit rate, and then that would increase my martial mastery by about 20-ish. This would then allow me to get that next point, but I would be out of talent points, so there's no point in doing it yet. Another great way to get these materials is the Siegeal shop. So click in here and you'll be given access to the book to upgrade our weapons, some notes to upgrade our inner ways, more on that later. You'll also get the supply support box. This will upgrade our enhanced area and is very nice. Now there are vendors around the map that you can purchase these materials from vendors in either Kaifeng or all the way in the starting location in Heaven's Pier. These will reset weekly, so make sure you buy them up before the weekly reset. Now something I want to mention is inner ways. These are extremely important to get high level as fast as possible. Now there'll be many different methods to do this. One of the best methods will be conversion. Here you want to take a weapon and another weapon like this, and then you can change the passive. So I can get 6 books onto my healing and get this 1 book over here to my weapon. This is something I would do if I want my little pot here to be my main weapon. Now there is a few caveats to doing this. 1, you get only 4 free exchanges per season, and 2, probably the more important one is the fact that you can only do this once every 7 days. I've already done this for my horse seasonal edge, so I have to wait now 7 full days to do it again. And because of this, I would recommend only doing this if you know exactly what you want to do. Now there is a couple of tips here I can give, but these aren't technically 100% correct in terms of min-maxing, so do make your own decisions here. 1, you can head down to this vendor in the Harbor Link Crossing. Here, you can purchase books from your man, and he will sell you them for some donuts. Now, I tried to cheese the system here by buying seasonal edge books and then trading them into my horsey. This does not work. The game is 2 steps ahead of me, and I hate them for that. But something that does extremely well is, well, you can delete your old books. You head over to bag, hit develop, then hit recycle. Now, technically, you can recycle everything in here except the 4 you're going to use for your main build. This is if you truly want to max them out as fast as possible. Why can you do this and get away with it? Well, because you can convert your inner ways every 7 days. So as long as you're okay with playing the same build for 7 days straight, this is a completely viable strategy. You can then also take the destroyed pieces into tips in exchange and then exchange them for more boxes. I personally chose the red because it has the best chances for what I want, but each of them has their own drops, so do read them so you know which boxes you're picking. Something else I want to mention is a pro tip about gathering. So if I wanted to, let's say, upgrade this thing and I don't have enough of these, well, plums, I can click on them, either open up my boxes from my Battle Pass shop here, which use these Battle Pass tokens. I recommend always buying these 3 at the bottom. These are the most important. This eliminate farming, and it's very nice. Arguably, this one is the best one to grab. But something that is very important is understanding how to gather these a bit better. Anything that you gather in your solo world will respawn much slower than in the MMO world. Then you have a few ways to cheese the system. 1, you gather it in your world, then head over to the MMO world and gather it there. Or you just farm it in the MMO world because the respawns are much faster. So let's say I head over to this point, I can then pick up this material back into solo mode and all this stuff will still be here. Watch. So we knew we just gathered that, head into solo mode, hit enter, and then bam, the Buddha tier is still there. Travel up and well, once again, it's right here. Meaning you can gather in both modes, and if you want to continue gathering, you can sit on the online mode as that will allow your resources to spawn faster. I'm not sure the exact time, I've heard about 10 minutes, and I've heard for the solo, it's about a whole day in real life time, not game time. If you guys did enjoy this video or found this helpful, it would mean a lot to me. Smash that like button and subscribe. If you guys want a more detailed, comprehensive guide where I go over all the systems in one video, let me know down in the comments below. I've been thinking about doing that. So we have one video where you can go to and just learn about the entire game.